cooking to make it a little bit more fun and a little bit more creative with our next guest. She is Monica White from Monica's Kitchen. Monica, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
And I love your philosophy, because I think a lot of people are intimidated when it comes to cooking, or they say they can't do it, when in reality it's not as hard as we make it out to be.
Everybody can cook. Everybody can cook. Everybody can follow a recipe as long as you have your ingredients set up in place in advance, which the French call a mise en place.
Right.
It is the best and easiest way to cook. You're not stressed. Yeah, and that's what I did today.
Well, and a great idea for back to school too, because the kids come home, it's very busy, and you're rushing around. Instead, prepare everything first. And when you have dinner parties,
well,
right?
Dinner
You don't
parties?
want to be cutting and chopping.
Yeah. Oh, you don't? Well, your chance of you overcooking something that's already on the stove while you're trying to get the next 3 or 4 ingredients into the pan, it could end up being a disaster. So having everything organized and set up to go is definitely a great best practice when you want to start cooking.
All right. You've got a beautiful portobello mushroom here. You're going to show us how to prepare one properly.
I am. While I'm going to show you how to do this, I'm going to get the shrimp started, because we're making shrimp and Denbuka cream pastas. Right?
All right.
So the key with portobello mushrooms, you see these gills. You can eat these gills if you're barbecuing this. It's no problem at all. The key is when you're making it into a sauce with cream, it will make it go muddy and brown looking. So you can just use a spoon and scrape up the gills. So if one of you just wants to take this little spoon,
come on up here. Yeah, I'll put
that
you
would
to
be
work
wonderful.
here.
And while you're
gonna do some shrimp.
I'm going to do some shrimp, absolutely, for our shrimp pasta. So I've got a little bit of butter, and I'm just adding a little bit of oil into the pan. And what I like to do with the shrimp is I like to take the tail off. So if it's just the tail, just grab the end and pull it. And it just makes it much easier to eat, because you're not picking up the shrimp and trying to get the tail off.
Well, then you can't mix it with your pasta.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It makes it more difficult.
So what I season this with, we'll just add to the pan. The pan on what we have today is on high heat. At home I've got a gas range, so sometimes I put it on medium-high, depending.
I'm so jealous of you, Monica. Honestly, our new house has electric. I went from gas to electric. We're going to convert one day when we have the money, but it's so much nicer cooking.
Oh, it is. It's instant heat, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So
and then instant no heat.
Yeah,
right? So it's the best of both worlds.
Exactly. What I seasoned the shrimp with was just onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of chipotle, and some Old Bay.
Old Bay? What is that?
Old Bay is a seasoning actually that I picked up in the U.S. a long time ago, and it's just a mixture of paprika, seasoning salt, a little bit of, and it goes well with seafood. It's perfect for crab cakes, for shrimp. It just adds that sort of hint of je ne sais quoi.
Oh, well, mise en place, je ne sais quoi. We got everything going here. Very well done. Look at that.
That's brilliant. So what you can do is, if you just want to cut it in half, and then if you just want to slice it into little segments, that's how we're just going to prep our portobello mushroom.
Do you love to cook? Do you do a lot of cooking?
I cook every day.
Okay, well then obviously you
I don't
love
like to
it.
bake. I cook every day.
You're not a baker?
No.
How about you, Monica?
No, I definitely prefer cuisine over baking.
Why? Is it because baking's more of a science and you
It's
can't
more
be?
measuring. I can't finagle with recipes. I mean, with a recipe, I read it and say, that was pretty interesting, let's go to the kitchen and do it. But with baking, it's exact where it's a flaw.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
And here you can substitute, and that's another one of the philosophies that you have, right?
Absolutely. So the one thing you'll notice with shrimp, a lot of people always ask me, how do I know if my shrimp is cooked? Well, I mean, with my seasoning here, they're a little bit pink anyways.
Right.
But shrimp have these built-in little heat thermometers, and when they're done, they start to curl and they start to turn pink. That is when you know to flip them over, and when they do it on the other side, you take them off. I would say for these shrimps, it takes 2 minutes in a pan, and you just take them off, put them in a bowl, and let them rest. You don't want to overcook shrimp. They become really rubbery.
Yeah, no one likes that.
Unpleasant.
I agree.
Unpleasant.
All right, so we're going to take those off. You're doing very well over here. She's double knifing. I've never seen that before on the show. You're actually double knifing.
Amazing.
Well done. Okay.
Just turn down the heat a little bit here.
So what's next here? You okay? All right? Do we need medical attention here? What's going on, Monica?
No,
Don't
it's
scare
just all
me.
the steam coming off.
All right.
The one thing I did add here was chipotle peppers, and chipotle does give it a little bit of a heat.
Right.
So you do want to be careful here. So
Okay.
let me just see if I've got a little bit of a towel. I'm just going to clean out my pan
Sure.
here. And
You
again,
do anything you want. It's your kitchen.
In a sink. I mean, you definitely do.
I'm going to turn this
Can I
up.
put more butter on there?
Well, what we would normally do here is we would take the mushrooms and we put them in the pan. I guess for
With no oil or butter.
Yeah, typically I don't. You want it on high heat. You want to get them a great sear.
A lot of olive oil and everything. Okay.
Well, I do add olive oil at the end. The thing what you want to do is you want to get the heat. There's a lot of water in mushrooms. And if your heat isn't high enough, they start
That's when you get the mushy mushroom, right?
Absolutely. You don't want
You don't want that.
No.
All right.
No. So this goes for about 3 or 4 minutes. You'll see it brown.
Okay.
And then what we would do is we would add our onions and our peppers.
All right.
And
Do we want to do that? Oh, you've already got
well,
it
the
done
beauty
here.
of television,
Okay.
I have it done.
Well
I did
done.
want to show one of my favorite tools, though, my gadgets for garlic.
All right.
And that's called a rasp.
I have one of these.
Isn't it
These
the
are
best?
great.
Yeah, they're the best.
Absolutely great.
I got it at Lee Valley Tools.
Yeah.
It was $11.
Do you know this was a mistake?
No.
They didn't actually create the. It was they were making a surgical tool, and it didn't quite work out. But they found that the sharpness that they were using for it would work out for something like this. It's a pretty neat invention.
It
was
is.
one of those mistakes that happened.
It is brilliant. You can use it for nutmeg. I use it for garlic, for ginger.
Yeah.
It is the best.
Want me to put
tool.
some on here?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be wonderful.
Okay. You can put me to work.
Yeah, I know. I'd love to.
All right.
For those people who don't like mushrooms, you can definitely avoid mushrooms. I put the mushrooms in here because if you were making this vegetarian, the portobello mushroom does replace that meaty taste that shrimp or a sort of meat would have.
Right.
You could put, for the fall, butternut squash in it. You
Nice.
could, if you don't have these ingredients in the kitchen, which I have peppers and I have onions, you could use broccoli in it. Broccoli works lovely. You could use just about anything that you want.
Very nice.
So because I have the vegetables already done, I'm just going to remove these and put these
Okay.
into mine,
All right.
already prepped. And then we're going to add the vegetables back in here, and we're going to start this sauce.
Okay. And you've got a sausage here too.
I do.
What are we
So
doing
I wanted to bring out the sausage for those people who have a seafood allergy.
Right.
So you could actually replace the meat in this component with a sausage. And what I like to do is involve your kids. So I have a
Right.
5 and a 7-year-old at home. They love squeezing the sausage out of that
Okay,
thing.
show me.
Heck, I'm 44 and I love doing that.
So
Here we
cool.
go.
Yeah, so just from the
So you
middle.
just start, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You would break it up and you could put it in.
So you just crumble it?
Absolutely, you crumble it. It's easier to cook. It's a little bit more consistent to cook.
Okay.
This would cook probably for about 10 minutes then,
Right.
whereas the shrimp took about 3.
Right.
But it's a great alternative to seafood, and the kids love to be involved.
Absolutely.
And the kids also love to
love
cut
it.
up the portobello mushrooms too, because
Yes.
it's
Nice to
very...
give them something to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now that we have the peppers in here, why don't I get you to put 1 ounce of Zambuca
Whoa.
in the shot
Here comes
glass.
the Zambuca. I'm going to move over here so you
Is
guys
this glass a 1 ounce glass?
It's a 1 ounce glass. A shot glass is typically a 1 ounce glass. The key with cooking with alcohol is you take
Yum.
the pan off of the heat
Right.
Okay.
for flare-up.
Just in case,
Absolutely. Put it in the pan.
Fancy.
Very fancy.
Very good.
And then we'll put it back on the heat. With gas, I mean, you've got the tendency for it to flambe.
And the liquor evaporates once you cook it,
Absolutely.
so in case anybody thinks the children can't eat it,
Oh,
the
absolutely.
liquor is gone.
Well, you can
Yeah.
see it right here. It's almost completely gone.
Right.
If you just want to give me a half a cup of whipping cream, that would be
Okay.
when you reach for the Zambuca. We're not going to be able to eat
Well,
this.
yeah, okay.
That's a different type
And
of
you
sauce.
cook with alcohol quite often,
I
right?
do.
Because it adds a fabulous flavor. I think
It
people are
does.
confused. They don't. We automatically assume wine,
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
right? But what other types of alcohols would you recommend?
I've made this with cognac,
Okay.
brandy. You could do it with white wine if you have white wine in your house.
I'll make this for dinner.
You should.
Yeah.
We've got the recipe too.
yeah,
You
yeah,
said-
exactly.
Yes, I put it up on the website.
Perfect.
So we're just actually going to let this reduce a couple of minutes. So it
Okay.
takes a little bit to reduce because you want the sauce eventually to coat the back of the spoon. If you ran your finger across it,
Little secret.
Right.
yeah, you would see it. So you're just going to let this reduce a
For
little
the
bit.
sake of television, we've run out of time. So what? You would add the pasta directly to
I'm
this?
actually going to add the shrimp back in.
Oh, okay.
first.
Well, let's
Maybe
do
20
that.
minutes.
Okay,
Okay,
sure.
Perfect. And the reason why we removed the shrimp was because you're going to overcook it if you kept
Okay.
it in
Right.
this whole time, and you
All
don't want chewy, rubbery
Okay.
No, nobody
shrimp.
wants that.
And then you put the pasta in and
Absolutely. So I've got some
there's your meat.
fresh pasta right here.
And this is al dente, right?
This is al dente, and I use fresh pasta. I love fresh pasta because it gives you that chew
Yeah,
that dried pasta doesn't necessarily give you.
agreed.
So we'll just put that there. And the one thing that you like to do with pasta dishes is let the sauce soak into the pasta for
Okay.
a minute or so. It really starts to absorb all of those flavors.
And you've got a bunch of recipes available on your blog, correct?
I do,
And
I
your
do.
website?
Yes, I started blogging a couple of months ago. It's called For the Love of Tasty Food.
nice.
Very nice.
So at the end, we'll just throw in some tomatoes,
Okay,
some freshly torn basil.
here you go.
It looks nice and presentable now.
Absolutely.
And
A
some
little bit of
cheese.
Parmesan.
All right.
And then I'll get that bowl and we'll just plate it right up.
All right, you played her up, and I will introduce everybody to our next guest as we do that. Next up, as I was telling you earlier on in the show, he's one of the best musicians, singer-songwriters in the country. Tyler Keeley is here on the show, and he's going to be performing live in studio. We're going to be talking about what he's been up to lately. We'll be back with Tyler right after this.